Have you ever wondered why two people with the same income can live completely different financial lives? One drowning in debt while the other quietly builds wealth? It's not just about numbers, it's about behavior. Welcome to the psychology behind how you spend money. Inspired by Morgan Housel's timeless insights on how our minds, emotions, and life experiences shape the way we earn, save, and spend. This isn't your typical finance talk filled with charts and calculations. It's a deep, human conversation about how we think and feel about money. Because money, at its core, isn't just about what's in your wallet, it's about what's in your mind. Why do we chase things we don't need? Why do we feel rich one moment and anxious the next? Why do we sometimes believe anything that promises security or success? In this audiobook, you'll uncover powerful lessons on luck, patience, freedom, risk, and the unseen habits that separate financial peace from chaos. You'll learn why it's not enough to make money. You must also learn how to keep it. Each chapter is crafted to make you reflect, challenge your beliefs, and inspire you to build not just wealth, but wisdom. So whether you're just starting your financial journey or looking to reset your mindset, this is your invitation to explore the side of money that few people talk about, the psychological side. Take a deep breath, open your mind, and let's dive into the hidden truths that will forever change how you see money, success, and yourself. And remember, by the end of this audiobook, you won't just understand how money works, you'll understand how you work with money. Before we dive in, we've noticed that most people who listen to our audiobooks never subscribe to the channel. So do me and yourself a favor. Like this video, share it with someone who's ready to grow, and subscribe to this channel so you never miss more empowering content designed to help you grow. Lesson 1. No one's crazy. Have you ever looked at the way someone spends or saves money and thought, that's crazy? Maybe it's the friend who invests in risky stocks, or the aunt who hides cash under a mattress. But here's the truth. No one is truly crazy about money. Everyone just sees it differently because everyone has lived a different story. Think about it. The way you view money today wasn't born from a textbook or a podcast. It was shaped by your experiences. If you grew up watching your parents struggle to pay rent, you probably see saving as security. If you grew up around wealth, you might see risk as an opportunity. The point Morgan Housel makes is powerful. People make financial decisions that make sense to them based on the world they've lived in. Two people can look at the same thing, a house, a stock, a job, and see something completely different. One sees safety, the other sees a trap. One sees potential, the other sees danger. And neither is wrong. They're just interpreting the world through the lens of their past. Take, for instance, someone who grew up during a recession. To them, the memory of scarcity is real. They remember when jobs were lost and savings vanished overnight. So even when times are good, they might still play it safe, hoard cash, and avoid risk. Meanwhile, someone else who saw their parents become wealthy through investments may believe that taking bold risks is the only path to success. Both are acting rationally, just from different histories. So, when we look at someone else's financial choices and think they're irrational, we're forgetting one thing. They haven't lived our life. Their relationship with money was built on experiences we know nothing about. And the same goes for us. No one else fully understands why we make the decisions we do. This perspective teaches us two major lessons. First, empathy. Instead of judging how others handle money, try to understand the story behind their choices. And second, self-awareness. Recognize that your own financial habits are rooted in your past, not necessarily in universal truth. The market, the economy, and even personal finance are all built on behavior. And behavior is not about logic. It's about emotion, memory, and survival. Once you accept that, you'll stop comparing your financial journey to someone else's and start making decisions that align with your reality, your goals, and your peace of mind. So, the next time you catch yourself thinking, that's crazy, pause. Ask yourself, what story might this person be living? What story am I living? When we understand that everyone's view of money is shaped by their unique experience, we open the door to compassion, growth, and wiser choices. And that's what true financial wisdom is. Not knowing all the answers, but understanding that everyone's path looks different. If this lesson resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this audiobook series, and share it with someone who needs to hear that their financial story isn't crazy. It's just theirs. Lesson 2. Luck and Risk, the hidden hands behind money. Have you ever looked at someone incredibly successful and thought, they must have done everything right? Or maybe you've seen someone lose it all and thought, they must have made bad choices. The truth, as Morgan Housel beautifully reminds us in The Psychology of Money, is that luck and risk are like invisible partners in every financial story. They're always there, quietly shaping outcomes while we often give all the credit to skill or blame to failure. Two people can make the same decision at the same time with the same logic and end up in completely different places. Why? Because one caught a lucky break and the other ran into bad timing. That's the uncomfortable reality of money and life. Outcomes don't always equal effort. Think of Bill Gates for a moment. Yes, he's brilliant and hardworking, but he also had a rare opportunity. He was one of the few teenagers in the world with access to a computer in the 1970s. That stroke of luck gave him the head start that shaped Microsoft. Now compare that to his high school friend Kent Evans, who was just as talented, maybe even smarter, but tragically died young in a mountain accident. One became one of the richest men alive. The other never got the chance to see his potential unfold. That's not to discredit success. It's to remind us to stay humble about our wins and empathetic about others' losses. When we understand the roles of luck and risk, we stop judging people so quickly. We realize that sometimes good decisions still lead to bad outcomes, and bad decisions sometimes get rewarded. This lesson invites us to shift our mindset from, I deserve this, to I'm grateful for this. Gratitude is what keeps you grounded when life gives you blessings you didn't entirely earn. And humility is what keeps you wise when fortune turns against you. In your financial journey, don't just measure success by results. Measure it by the quality of your decisions and your ability to stay consistent through uncertainty. Because you can't control luck, but you can control preparation. You can control how you respond when life tilts the odds against you. Risk, in this sense, is not the enemy. It's the price of progress. Every investment, every business idea, every dream comes with a cost of uncertainty. But that's what makes growth possible. Without risk, there's no reward. Without uncertainty, there's no adventure. So, the next time you see someone succeed, celebrate them. But remember the invisible forces that played their part. And if you stumble, don't let failure define you. Sometimes it's not your fault. It's just the roll of the dice. But if you stay consistent, learn, and play long-term, luck tends to find those who keep showing up. Because in the game of money and life, it's not just about skill. It's about patience, perspective, and persistence. If you found this lesson inspiring, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment below to keep learning powerful money lessons that can change the way you think, live, and grow. Key lesson 3. It's never enough. There's a quiet trap that almost everyone falls into at some point. The feeling that no matter how much we have, it's never enough. More money, more success, more recognition. Yet somehow, satisfaction keeps slipping further away. This lesson from The Psychology of Money teaches that the true art of wealth is not just in earning it. It's in knowing when to stop chasing endlessly and start living meaningfully. Think about it. We often measure our success by comparing it to others. Someone buys a new car, and suddenly, the one you loved yesterday feels smaller. A friend gets a promotion, and your own progress seems slower. But the truth is, if your sense of enough is always tied to what others have, peace will forever be out of reach. Morgan Housel explained that many people lose everything, not because they didn't earn enough, but because they didn't recognize when enough was enough. They kept taking bigger risks, chasing higher returns, and ignoring that real wealth isn't about having more, it's about needing less. Take the story of Raj, for example, a man who made millions in the stock market. Yet he wasn't satisfied. He wanted to double it, then triple it. When the market shifted, he lost it all. Contrast that with Maya, a teacher who saved modestly, invested wisely, and lived simply. She never made headlines, but she retired peacefully, content, and free. The difference wasn't money, it was mindset. The idea of enough doesn't mean settling for less or giving up ambition. It means being grounded, understanding that there's a point where more doesn't equal better. It's the ability to say, I have enough for my needs, my peace, and my future, and to feel grateful for it. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with images of people living better lives. Influencers, entrepreneurs, celebrities. But what we rarely see are the trade-offs behind those images. Sleepless nights, anxiety, debt, or relationships sacrificed for the illusion of success. When you define your own enough, you free yourself from that endless race. Enough gives you balance. Enough gives you control. Enough gives you freedom. Remember, wealth is not just a number in your bank account. It's the calm in your heart. When you reach a point where your needs are met and your dreams are still alive, you have enough. Anything beyond that should be a choice, not a chase. So take a moment today and ask yourself, what does enough look like for me? Define it clearly. Write it down. And then protect it fiercely. Because peace doesn't come from having everything. It comes from realizing you already have more than enough. If this lesson spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Let someone else find peace in redefining their enough. Like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more powerful lessons that will help you build not just wealth, but wisdom. Lesson 4. Confounding compounding. There's a quiet, almost invisible force that builds empires, turns small savings into fortunes, and rewards the patient while humbling the impatient. It's not luck. It's not genius. It's the simple, powerful magic of compounding. Most people think wealth is created by chasing big wins, that one lucky investment, that perfect business idea, or that bold risk that changes everything overnight. But the truth is, wealth rarely comes from sudden explosions of success. It grows quietly, almost boringly, over time, from small actions repeated consistently. Compounding is not just about money, it's about time. Imagine planting a tree. In the first few years, it barely grows. You water it, protect it, nurture it, and wonder if it's even working. But one day, it shoots up, spreading branches, producing fruit, and giving shade that lasts for generations. That's how compounding works. Growth is slow at first, then suddenly it's unstoppable. In the world of finance, investors often admire the results of compounding but underestimate its patience. Think of Warren Buffett. Most of his net worth came after his 60th birthday. Not because he changed his strategy, but because time finally multiplied his consistent effort. It wasn't his intelligence alone that made him wealthy. It was his endurance. The secret of compounding is that the biggest gains come in the later years, but only for those who stay long enough to see them. Many people stop too early because they expect fast results. They switch investments, lose patience, or withdraw when growth seems too slow. What they don't realize is that the most powerful returns are often waiting just beyond the point of boredom or doubt. And compounding doesn't apply only to money. It applies to knowledge, habits, health, relationships, and even kindness. Every book you read compounds into wisdom. Every small act of discipline compounds into character. Every consistent effort compounds into mastery. The best things in life are built through time, not tricks. Compounding teaches us a bigger lesson about life. That consistency beats intensity. You don't need to be extraordinary every day. You just need to keep showing up. A small amount of progress done regularly will outperform big, inconsistent bursts every time. So, ask yourself, what seeds are you planting today? Are you nurturing your savings, your skills, your relationships, your health? Or are you jumping from one shiny distraction to another, expecting instant fruit from an unplanted tree? Patience may not be glamorous, but it's powerful. The world will always celebrate the visible results, the mansion, the success story, the big moment. But real wealth, the kind that lasts, is grown in silence, watered by consistency, and harvested by time. If you truly want lasting success, stop rushing. Start compounding. Let time become your partner, not your enemy. If this message inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, subscribe, and drop a comment to remind someone that small steps, done daily, can change everything. Lesson 5. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. Money isn't just about making it. It's about keeping it. Many people chase wealth as if it's a sprint, but true wealth is a marathon. The skills that make you rich are often very different from the mindset that helps you stay rich. This is one of the most powerful truths I learned from The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Getting wealthy often takes boldness, vision, and sometimes even risk. It's about taking chances, seeing opportunities where others don't, and having the courage to act. Think about entrepreneurs like those who invested early in ideas no one believed in. That takes bravery. But staying wealthy? That's an entirely different skill. It's not about taking every opportunity. It's about knowing when to protect what you've earned. It's about humility, patience, and balance. You see, making money is an act of offense, but keeping money is a game of defense. When you're on offense, you take risks, innovate, push forward, and dream big. When you're on defense, you save, diversify, and stay grounded even when others are getting carried away by greed or fear. Morgan Housel reminds us that staying wealthy comes from 3 simple principles: frugality, humility, and paranoia. Not the kind of paranoia that freezes you, but the kind that keeps you alert. It's the awareness that things can change anytime. A business can fail, a market can crash, health can decline, or unexpected expenses can arise. The truly wealthy know that survival matters more than speculation. It's easy to think you'll always have enough, but history shows that wealth can vanish faster than it's built. Some people make a fortune, but lose it because they think the game never ends. They forget that good times don't last forever. The people who stay rich are those who know when to stop reaching for more. They understand the power of enough. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Getting to the top takes ambition and courage. But the most dangerous part isn't the climb up, it's the way down. Staying wealthy is knowing how to descend safely. It's realizing that preserving what you have is just as important as growing it. In your own life, this means building habits that protect your finances, like saving consistently, living below your means, and avoiding debt traps. It means saying no to unnecessary risks, even when everyone else seems to be winning big. It means planning for the long game. Because wealth isn't measured by how much you make in a year. It's measured by how long you can sustain your lifestyle without fear, without pressure, and without losing peace of mind. So, as you listen to this, remember, getting wealthy may depend on what you know, but staying wealthy depends on how you behave. Discipline, humility, and awareness, those are your real assets. If this lesson spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to spread wisdom that helps others build not just wealth, but lasting financial peace. And in the comments, tell us, what does staying wealthy mean to you? Lesson 6. The importance of tail events. When you look back at the biggest successes in your life, or even the greatest moments in history, you'll notice something interesting. Most of them didn't happen every day. They were rare, powerful, and unexpected. Morgan Housel calls these tail events, those few extraordinary moments that shape almost everything that comes after. Think about it. In business, just one good idea can transform an entire company. Apple had the iPhone. Amazon had Prime. Netflix had streaming. These weren't everyday decisions. They were tail events. Yet they defined the direction, success, and reputation of these companies for decades. The same happens in our personal lives. One decision to start saving early, one courageous move to switch careers, one small investment made consistently over time. Those single tails can change the entire trajectory of our financial future. Most of our progress doesn't come from hundreds of perfect moves. It comes from a few that truly matter. That's why it's so important to be patient, consistent, and prepared. Because when the right opportunity comes, you have to be ready to act. Most people get frustrated when small actions don't show immediate results. They quit before compounding begins. But success, wealth, and freedom are often the result of staying in the game long enough for a rare event to work in your favor. In the stock market, for example, just a handful of days literally a few out of thousands, account for most long-term gains. If you panic and pull out too soon, you might miss those big moments. The same is true for your career, your business, and your personal growth. You don't need everything to go right, you just need a few things to go really right. Tail events also remind us to be humble. Because the same way one big success can lift us, one bad decision can pull us down. The 2008 financial crash was a tail event. The rise of the internet was a tail event. COVID-19 was another. You can't predict them, but you can prepare for them. By saving money, diversifying, and staying adaptable, you give yourself a safety net when the unexpected happens. That's what separates those who merely survive from those who thrive. The goal isn't to predict every tail event. It's to position yourself so you can endure the bad ones and capture the good ones. Be consistent, be patient, and understand that most of life's rewards come from a small handful of extraordinary moments that compound over time. So, don't quit too early. Keep learning, keep growing, and stay in the game long enough for your own tail events to find you. Because one decision, one opportunity, one brave step could change everything. If this lesson inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs motivation today, and subscribe for more life-changing lessons. Your next big breakthrough might just start with listening and taking action. Lesson 7. Freedom. The highest dividend money can pay is control over your time. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what does money really buy? Many people will say comfort, luxury, or security. But the truth, as Morgan Housel beautifully reminds us, is that the greatest thing money can buy isn't a mansion, a car, or a designer watch. It's freedom, the ability to control your time and live life on your own terms. Think about it. What most people truly crave isn't more money. It's the option to wake up when they want, spend the day doing what matters most, and go to bed without feeling enslaved by stress or schedules. Freedom is that quiet form of wealth that rarely gets posted online, but once you taste it, you never want to lose it. In the world we live in, it's easy to confuse wealth with status. We see people chasing promotions, new gadgets, or business deals just to show they're winning. But real success isn't about showing off. It's about showing up for yourself. It's being able to say no to things that drain your energy and yes to the things that give your life meaning. Money gives you that power, but only when you stop letting it control you. The problem is, most of us trade our time for money, and then trade that money for things that steal even more time. We buy cars that need endless maintenance, houses that tie us down, and gadgets that eat our focus. In the end, we have less of the one thing we can never get back, time. True wealth, then, is not having to rush. It's not having to explain why you can't take a break. It's being able to slow down, spend a weekday afternoon with your kids, take a walk when the sun is still shining, or simply breathe without hurry. You don't need to be a millionaire to achieve this. You just need to design a life that values freedom over appearances. Save not just for comfort, but for control. Invest not just in assets, but in autonomy. The moment you stop needing every paycheck to survive, you gain leverage, the ability to choose, to think, to live with intention. That's what real wealth looks like. The kind that whispers, not shouts. The kind that shows up in peace of mind, not possessions. So ask yourself, if money wasn't an issue, how would you spend your day? Then start making small choices that bring you closer to that version of your life, because that's what financial freedom truly means. Remember, the richest person isn't the one with the most money. It's the one who wakes up every day and decides how to spend their time. If this message inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe so more people can learn the truth about money, freedom, and a life they deserve. And in the comments, tell us, what does freedom mean to you? Lesson 8. The man in the car paradox. Have you ever seen someone drive by in a luxury car, and for a moment, you found yourself admiring them? Maybe you thought, wow, that person must be successful. But here's the truth. Most people aren't actually thinking about the driver at all. They're imagining themselves in that car. That's the man in the car paradox. Morgan Housel explains this beautifully. When you see someone living a life of wealth or luxury, your admiration isn't truly directed at them. It's directed inward. You're not impressed by who they are, but by the idea of having what they have. It's a quiet illusion that fools so many of us into chasing symbols of status instead of building true wealth and peace of mind. The paradox reveals something deeper about human behavior. Most people don't want respect for who they are. They want admiration for what they show. They believe driving a certain car, wearing a certain brand, or living in a certain house will make people admire them. But here's the catch. Almost nobody is thinking about you as much as you think they are. The lesson? Status symbols rarely deliver the emotional reward we imagine. They attract attention, yes, but not necessarily the kind that fulfills us. Because deep down, what we truly want isn't applause, it's appreciation. It's not envy, it's respect. And those things can't be bought. They're earned through character, humility, and authenticity. Think about it. The man in the fancy car might believe he's inspiring admiration, but in truth, he's just inspiring dreams in others who want the same car. No one's thinking, what a wise, disciplined person. They're thinking, I want that life. This realization frees you from the endless cycle of comparison. It allows you to redirect your energy toward what actually brings satisfaction, freedom, peace, purpose, and security. When you stop trying to impress others, you begin to live on your own terms. You start to find pride in simplicity, joy in gratitude, and confidence in self-worth that isn't tied to what you own. True wealth isn't loud, it's quiet. It's the freedom to wake up when you want, to spend time with people you love, to make decisions without fear. It's knowing that your happiness doesn't depend on validation from strangers. So instead of asking, what will people think if I buy this? Start asking, will this truly make me happy? The shift may seem small, but it changes everything. Because once you understand the man in the car paradox, you stop living for the illusion of admiration and start living for the reality of fulfillment. Remember this. People may notice your possessions for a few seconds, but they'll remember your character for a lifetime. Live to inspire, not to impress. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, subscribe for more life-changing lessons, and leave a comment below. Tell us one thing you've learned about chasing what truly matters. Because real success isn't about being seen, it's about being fulfilled. Lesson 9. Wealth is what you don't see. Have you ever seen someone driving a luxury car and thought, wow, they must be rich? But what if I told you that real wealth often hides where no one can see it? You see, we live in a world that celebrates what's visible, the cars, the designer clothes, the exotic vacations. But the truth is, those things only show how much someone has spent, not how much they actually have. Wealth isn't the mansion. It's the money that wasn't used to buy it. It's the quiet power of savings, investments, and self-control. The things you can't see, but that speak the loudest when it truly matters. One of the biggest lessons I learned from Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money is this. Wealth is built in silence and enjoyed in peace. The flashy spender often looks rich, but the real wealthy person could be the one next door, living simply, driving an old car, and quietly building financial independence. Think about it. If you spend every dollar you earn to look wealthy, you're trading away your future for someone else's admiration. And here's the catch. Most people you're trying to impress aren't even paying attention. They're too busy thinking about themselves. Wealth, on the other hand, is freedom. It's security. It's waking up in the morning without financial fear. It's being able to choose what you do, when you do it, and who you do it with. And that freedom comes from what's unseen, the money saved, the wise investments, the discipline of saying no to unnecessary things. It's easy to fall for appearances. We assume the person with the big house is doing great. But many times, that house comes with debt, pressure, and sleepless nights. True wealth doesn't demand attention. It doesn't need validation. It's quiet, humble, and deeply personal. Let's bring it closer to home. Imagine two people earning the same income. One spends everything to maintain a lifestyle. The other lies below their means, saves, and invests. 5 years later, one is still chasing appearances, while the other has built financial independence. That's the difference between looking rich and being wealthy. Real wealth is what gives you options when life happens. It's what allows you to help others, take breaks when you need them, and live life on your terms. It's what you don't see: your emergency fund, your investments, your long-term peace of mind. So, if you truly want to build wealth, don't focus on showing it. Focus on growing it. The quiet saver, the consistent investor, the disciplined planner. These are the real success stories. Remember, money that's spent is gone, but money that's saved works for you long after the applause fades. If this message inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more life-changing lessons. And in the comments, tell us, what does real wealth mean to you? Lesson 10, save money. The power of options, freedom, and peace of mind. When we think about money, most of us focus on how to earn more. We chase promotions, build businesses, or dream of striking gold one day. But Morgan Housel reminds us of something far more powerful than just earning: the quiet strength of saving. Saving money isn't just about stacking numbers in your bank account. It's about buying freedom. It's about having the ability to make decisions without fear and living life on your own terms. When you save, you're not just preparing for emergencies, you're building options. You're giving your future self the gift of choice. Think about it. When you have savings, you can walk away from a toxic job, take a break to breathe, or start that passion project you've been putting off for years. You're no longer trapped by the next paycheck or pressure to say yes to every opportunity just because you need the money. Saving money gives you flexibility. Life will always be unpredictable. There will always be things you can't control: an unexpected bill, a health issue, an opportunity that suddenly appears. But when you have savings, you can face uncertainty with calm instead of panic. You gain resilience. Morgan Housel once said that the ability to save comes from your behavior, not your income. It's not about how much you earn, but how much you keep. You don't need a six-figure salary to build wealth. You need discipline, patience, and a clear sense of enough. Too many people measure success by what they can buy: the car, the clothes, the lifestyle. But the truth is, wealth is what you don't see. It's the money quietly sitting in your account, protecting you from the storms of life. The car may lose value, but savings never stop serving you. Imagine two people earning the same income. One spends everything to look successful. The other saves a portion of every paycheck. Over time, the spender may look rich, but the saver is rich, not just financially, but emotionally. The saver sleeps better at night, knowing they're secure, knowing they're free. Saving isn't about deprivation. It's about building peace. It's about saying, I value my future self enough to prepare for it. It's a statement of confidence and self-respect. You don't have to start big. Even small, consistent savings create big change over time. The magic of compounding rewards patience, not perfection. Every amount saved today is a seed planted for tomorrow's freedom. So, ask yourself, what's stopping you from saving more? Is it the need to impress others? The fear of missing out? Or simply a lack of clarity? Whatever it is, start small. Take control. Build your safety net. Because the more you save, the more life opens up to you. Remember, saving money is not just about money. It's about control, peace, and the power to choose your path. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe, and tell someone you care about to start saving today. Because freedom begins with one simple act: saving for yourself. Lesson 11. Reasonable is greater than rational. Most people think that success with money is about being perfectly rational, making the smartest, most calculated decisions based on numbers, charts, and logic. But here's the truth. Being reasonable with money will take you farther than being rational. Because money is not just math, it's emotion, behavior, and deeply personal experience. You see, rational decisions often look perfect on paper, but real life isn't lived on spreadsheets. We have families, fears, dreams, and responsibilities that make us human. The market may crash tomorrow, you may lose your job, or face a health challenge. And in those moments, the perfect financial theory doesn't matter. What matters is what you can stick with. Imagine an investor who refuses to invest in stocks because he can't stand seeing his portfolio drop, even temporarily. Another investor, though less sophisticated, Invest steadily in an index fund month after month, rain or shine, simply because it feels safe enough for her. 10 years later, guess who wins? The second investor. Not because she was smarter, but because she was consistent. Reasonable is not about doing what's mathematically perfect. It's about doing what's emotionally sustainable. If a plan gives you peace of mind, helps you sleep at night, and keeps you moving forward, that plan is worth more than the one that promises 20% returns but keeps you anxious. Morgan Housel reminds us that people don't live in laboratories. They live in the real world, where discipline matters more than genius. Many people lose wealth not because they don't know enough, but because they can't control their emotions. A reasonable plan, saving more, avoiding unnecessary risks, investing for the long term, protects you from yourself. Think of it this way. The best diet isn't the strictest one. It's the one you can follow every day. The same applies to money. Your wealth will grow from habits you can maintain, not from perfect theories you can't live by. Being reasonable means accepting trade-offs. You might choose to pay off your mortgage early, even though investing that money might bring higher returns. That's okay. If being debt-free helps you feel safe, that's a win. The goal isn't to impress others or chase some optimal formula. It's to build a life that's calm, stable, and true to your values. So, let this be your reminder. You don't have to be a genius to win with money. You just have to be consistent, patient, and emotionally aware. You don't need to master the stock market. You just need to master yourself. Because in the end, wealth isn't built by people who are the smartest. It's built by people who are the most reasonable, those who keep going when others give up. If this message added value to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, subscribe for more powerful insights, and let's keep growing together, one reasonable step at a time. Lesson 12. Surprise. The world is unpredictable. Life has a way of surprising us, sometimes beautifully, sometimes painfully. One of the biggest lessons from the psychology of money is this. The world will always surprise you, and no amount of knowledge, experience, or data can fully protect you from that truth. Think about it. No one predicted the global financial crisis, the pandemic, or how quickly technology would reshape how we live and earn. History may repeat itself, but not in the same way or with the same timing. What we can learn from this is simple yet profound. Uncertainty is the only certainty. Many people build their financial lives assuming that tomorrow will look like today. They expect that markets will grow steadily, that jobs will stay secure, that nothing drastic will change. But the truth is, most of what shapes our financial future doesn't show up in spreadsheets or forecasts. It shows up as surprise. And here's where wisdom begins. You don't need to predict every surprise. You just need to prepare for them. The goal isn't to guess the future, but to build a mindset and a system strong enough to survive when it surprises you. That's why emergency savings matter. That's why humility matters. That's why flexibility is worth more than overconfidence. Morgan Housel reminds us that every financial plan, no matter how detailed, should include a healthy dose of what if. What if the economy slows? What if your income drops? What if the opportunity of your life comes when you least expect it? Would you be ready? Preparation is not pessimism. It's wisdom. It's knowing that rain will come and choosing to carry an umbrella. Not because you want rain, but because you respect its power. Think about people who stayed invested during market crashes, or those who kept saving even when times were tough. They didn't do that because they knew what would happen next. They did it because they accepted that they didn't know. That mindset, that quiet humility, is what turns chaos into opportunity. When surprises come, and they will, you'll have two choices: panic or adapt. The ones who thrive are not those who can predict every twist, but those who have built enough room for error to survive the storm. So take this lesson personally. Don't just build wealth, build resilience. Don't just chase returns, chase endurance. Be flexible, stay curious, and respect the fact that the world is full of things beyond your control. Remember, the goal of money isn't to eliminate uncertainty. It's to give you the confidence to face it. If this message inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more life-changing lessons. Together, let's grow wiser, stronger, and more prepared for the beautiful surprises life brings. Lesson 13. Room for error. There's a simple truth about money that many people forget until it's too late. Life never goes exactly as planned. No matter how much we study, calculate, or prepare, surprises always come. That's why Morgan Housel reminds us of something deeply practical, yet often ignored. Give yourself room for error. Room for error means building a margin between what you can afford and what you actually spend. It means leaving space for life to happen, because it always will. Jobs are lost. Markets crash. Emergencies arise when you least expect them. Even your own emotions can betray you. So rather than aiming for perfection, the goal should be resilience. Think about a pilot flying a plane. They don't load just enough fuel to reach their destination. They add extra, not because they plan to waste it, but because they know winds can change, weather can surprise, and reroutes can happen. That's what room for error looks like in the sky. Now imagine living your financial life the same way, with extra fuel in the tank. In money terms, this might look like saving more than you think you need. It might mean investing with caution, choosing stability over flashy promises, or resisting the urge to stretch your budget just because you can. It's about humility, accepting that we don't know what tomorrow holds, and protecting ourselves from the unknown. Many people lose money not because they were foolish, but because they were too confident. They assumed things would always go right. They planned their finances on the best-case scenario, the perfect job, the rising market, the stable economy. But the future rarely behaves that nicely. Room for error is your defense against that uncertainty. It's your safety net. Housel teaches that true wealth isn't about how much you can gain, but how much you can survive when things go wrong. A person who can sleep peacefully at night, knowing they'll be fine if the economy dips, or if their business slows down, is richer than the one who's always living on the edge. Even beyond money, this idea applies to every area of life. In your relationships, in your time, in your energy, always leave space for imperfection. The happiest people aren't the ones who have everything planned out perfectly. They're the ones who can bend without breaking. So, when you think about your next financial decision, don't just ask, what's the reward? Ask, what happens if I'm wrong? Because real success isn't about being right all the time. It's about staying in the game long enough to benefit from the times you are. Remember, safety isn't weakness. Caution isn't fear. They're forms of wisdom. Build your buffer. Expect mistakes. Give yourself room to breathe. Because the freedom to endure, that's the true power of money. If this lesson resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment so more people can learn how to build financial resilience and live with confidence. Lesson 14. You'll change. When you think about the person you were 5 years ago, how much have you changed? The way you think, what you value, what you dream of, it's likely different now. That's the quiet truth Morgan Housel reminds us of in the psychology of money. You are not a fixed being. Your goals, your dreams, and even your definition of success will evolve. At one point, you might crave luxury, a big house, fast cars, or that high-paying job that proves you've made it. But later, what you truly want might be peace of mind, free evenings with your family, or the freedom to say no to things that don't serve you. This shift doesn't mean you were wrong before. It means you grew. And growth is the best investment you'll ever make. The problem is, many people make permanent financial decisions based on temporary desires. They plan their entire life around who they think they'll be forever. But time changes us. Life changes us. And so, a smart financial mindset isn't just about making the right decisions. It's about leaving room for the future version of you who might want something completely different. Think about it like this. When you were a teenager, your dream car, your ideal home, even your idea of a good life were totally different from what you want now. So why assume your 50-year-old self will want what your 25-year-old self wants? The best way to prepare for change is not to fight it, but to expect it. This is why flexibility is wealth. Not just financial flexibility, but mental flexibility, the ability to adjust your plans when life throws new desires or realities at you. Maybe one day, you'll value time more than money. Maybe you'll trade ambition for peace or comfort for purpose. And that's okay. Morgan Housel teaches that financial freedom isn't just about having more money. It's about having the option to change your mind without fear. True wealth means you can walk away from what no longer fits the person you become. So, save a little more. Spend a little less. Keep your life light enough that you can pivot when the wind changes. Because someday, you'll wake up and realize the goals you chase so hard aren't the ones you care about anymore. And if you've built wisely, with margin, patience, and humility, you'll have the freedom to become who you're meant to be next. So ask yourself, if I change tomorrow, will my life allow it? If the answer is no, then maybe it's time to rethink what you're building today. Don't trap yourself in a version of success that no longer fits your soul. You will change, and that's not a weakness. It's wisdom in motion. Embrace it, prepare for it, and live in a way that gives your future self the gift of freedom. If this message inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And share this audiobook with someone who needs a reminder that growth is beautiful and change is part of the journey. Lesson 15. Nothing's free. When it comes to money, there's one truth we often forget. Nothing is ever truly free. Every reward, every profit, every benefit has a price attached to it. The price may not always be written in bold letters, but it's always there, waiting to be paid, one way or another. This lesson from The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel reminds us that the world of finance is not built on magic or shortcuts. There's no such thing as free returns, easy wealth, or risk-free success. Behind every opportunity lies a trade-off, a cost you must bear, whether in time, patience, discipline, or emotional endurance. Think about it. The stock market promises growth, but that growth comes with volatility, the emotional roller coaster of seeing your investments rise and fall. That's the cost of admission to long-term wealth. Many people want the gains without the pain, the reward without the risk. But if you're not willing to stomach temporary losses, you'll likely miss out on the long-term compounding that builds real wealth. Even saving money comes at a cost. You give up short-term pleasures, the fancy dinner, the impulse buy, the shiny new gadget, for the sake of future security. That sacrifice is the price of peace of mind. The same goes for building a business. You may enjoy freedom later, but first, you'll pay with sleepless nights, uncertainty, and the weight of responsibility. Nothing's free, not even financial advice. When someone tells you to invest in something guaranteed, remember, the guarantee has a hidden cost. Maybe it's lower returns, hidden fees, or the opportunity you lose by locking your money away. Every decision carries a consequence, whether seen or unseen. But here's the empowering part. When you accept that every reward comes with a price, you stop chasing illusions. You stop believing that someone else has an easier path. You begin to ask a wiser question. What price am I willing to pay for the outcome I want? The most successful investors and wealth builders understand this perfectly. They know that patience, emotional control, and endurance are the real costs of success. They pay it gladly because they see the bigger picture, freedom, security, and time. In life, too, this principle applies. Relationships, careers, personal growth. Nothing meaningful comes without effort or sacrifice. The key is to know your price and be willing to pay it. Because the truth is, the cost is what gives value to the reward. So the next time something sounds too good to be true, pause and ask, what's the hidden cost? Learn to pay the right price for the right things, for knowledge, discipline, peace, and freedom. Because in the long run, those are the most valuable assets you'll ever own. If this lesson added value to your life, don't keep it to yourself. Like this audiobook, share it with others who want to grow financially and mentally. Subscribe for more life-changing insights, and leave a comment below on what lesson spoke to you most. Remember, nothing's free, but wisdom is worth every second you invest. Lesson 16. You in me. Define success on your own terms. Money means different things to different people. For some, it's freedom, the ability to wake up and choose what to do with their day. For others, it's security, knowing that their family will be okay no matter what happens. And for some, it's simply comfort, the peace of mind that comes with stability. That's why comparing your financial journey to someone else's is like comparing a painter's brushstroke to a poet's verse. Both are art, but they're not the same language. Morgan Housel reminds us that when it comes to money, you and I are not playing the same game. We have different goals, experiences, fears, and timelines. You might be saving to buy your first home, while someone else is investing aggressively for early retirement. You might value time with family over career success, while another person thrives on ambition and achievement. So why do we often measure our lives against theirs? The truth is, most financial stress comes from chasing standards that were never ours to begin with. We see others buying luxury cars, expensive houses, or posting pictures of dream vacations, and we feel behind. But we rarely stop to ask, do I even want that? Does it align with my values? When you define success based on someone else's scoreboard, you'll always feel like you're losing. The real measure of success is peace, not applause. It's the quiet satisfaction of knowing you're making choices that serve your priorities. Think about it. A young investor might take big risks, but a parent of 3 may prefer security. A retiree may cash out of the market, while a 20-year-old sees a dip as an opportunity. Neither is wrong. They're just playing different games with different rules. The key lesson is this: stop copying other people's financial moves and start building your own money philosophy. Ask yourself, what does money mean to me? What kind of life do I want it to build? When you get clear on that, your financial choices become less about impressing others and more about creating alignment with your values. That's where true wealth begins, in clarity, not comparison. So take a step back today. Look at where you are, not where others are. Set goals that fit your story, not the highlight reel of someone else's life. Remember, money is just a tool. What matters is how you use it to write your own version of happiness and success. Because at the end of the day, it's not you versus them. It's you with you. If this message inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more powerful lessons on money, mindset, and growth. Let's grow wiser together. Lesson 17. The seduction of pessimism. Have you ever noticed how pessimism sounds smarter than optimism? When someone predicts that the economy will crash or that the world is going downhill, people tend to nod in agreement, as if they're hearing a profound truth. But when someone says things will get better, we often think they're being naive. That's the strange psychology of money and of life. Morgan Housel explains that this is what he calls the seduction of pessimism. Bad news grabs attention. It sounds intelligent, cautious, and realistic. Good news? It sounds careless. Yet history shows us something different. Optimism, not pessimism, is what has quietly built the world we live in today. Think about it. Over the past century, we've faced wars, recessions, pandemics, and countless setbacks. Yet here we are, healthier, more connected, and wealthier than ever before. For every crisis, there were hundreds of innovations, millions of people who kept working, building, and believing in tomorrow. That's what optimism does. It fuels progress one step at a time. Pessimism spreads fast because it speaks to our survival instincts. Our brains are wired to focus on threats more than opportunities. It's what kept our ancestors alive. But in modern life, that same instinct can hold us back. When you believe everything is doomed, you stop trying. You stop investing, not just your money, but your effort, your creativity, your hope. Optimism doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means acknowledging the problems, but also believing in the possibility of solutions. It's saying, yes, things might get tough, but I can adapt, grow, and move forward. In money, this is the mindset of long-term investors. They know markets fall, but they also know they rise again. The pessimist sells at the bottom. The optimist holds on and wins over time. Housel reminds us that behind every great success story is a patient optimist, someone who looked beyond the storm and saw the sunrise coming. Think about the inventions we rely on: airplanes, the internet, electric cars. None of them came from people who believed the world was ending. They came from dreamers, builders, and believers. If you want to grow your wealth, Your mindset must grow first. Don't let fear control your decisions. Don't let headlines decide your future. Choose the harder path, the path of optimistic realism. See the world's flaws clearly, but choose to focus on what can be improved. Because while pessimism sounds clever in the moment, optimism wins in the long run, every time. So today, choose hope. Choose action. Choose to see opportunity even when others see failure. That's how you build not just wealth, but a meaningful life. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share and subscribe so more people can grow with us. And in the comments, tell us, what are you choosing to stay optimistic about today? Lesson 18, when you'll believe anything. Have you ever noticed how, when times get tough or uncertain, people start believing almost anything that promises a sense of control? It's human nature. When fear or confusion enters the picture, our minds crave certainty. And in that craving, we can easily fall for stories that sound good, but aren't true. Morgan Housel reminds us that money, like life, is full of uncertainty. The markets rise and fall. Economies shift overnight. Careers that once seemed secure can vanish. And in those moments of instability, people tend to grab onto comforting stories, no matter how irrational they are. We believe what makes us feel safe, even when it's not logical. Think back to the financial crises of the past decades. Every time chaos hits, there's a wave of theories, predictions, and miracle promises. This time it's different, they say. Buy this stock, this coin, this property, it can't fail. But behind the noise, it's the same old pattern, fear mixed with hope. The truth is, our brains are wired for stories. We don't want data, we want meaning. And when uncertainty clouds our vision, we trade evidence for emotion. That's when people start chasing quick riches or clinging to pessimistic doom and gloom forecasts. But here's the real lesson. Just because a story feels good doesn't make it true. Being wise with money isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being grounded when everyone else is swayed by emotion. You don't have to predict the future. You just need to avoid reacting to noise. The more uncertain the world feels, the more important it becomes to pause, breathe, and think clearly before acting. A practical example. Imagine you hear a friend say, "Everyone is getting rich investing in that new trend. Don't miss out." It triggers your fear of being left behind. But if you step back and look deeper, you might realize it's driven by hype, not fundamentals. That pause between reaction and reflection can save you from costly mistakes. The key takeaway? In times of uncertainty, discipline and patience are your superpowers. Believe less in predictions and more in principles. Instead of asking, "What's the next big thing?" ask, "What decisions will still make sense in 10 years?" Long-term thinking is how you protect yourself from emotional traps. When you find yourself tempted by an exciting claim or a perfect guarantee, remember, the more uncertain things seem, the more cautious you should be about what you believe. The world is unpredictable, but your mindset doesn't have to be. Choose awareness over anxiety. Choose clarity over comfort. Because at the end of the day, financial peace doesn't come from knowing the future. It comes from mastering yourself. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs clarity, and subscribe for more powerful lessons that help you build not just wealth, but wisdom. And remember, stay curious, stay grounded, and always think before you believe anything. And that brings us to the end of this powerful journey through the psychology behind how you spend money. If you've listened closely, you'll realize something life-changing. Building wealth isn't about mastering numbers. It's about mastering yourself. You've learned that no one's crazy. We're all shaped by our experiences. That luck and risk dance hand in hand. That real freedom isn't found in luxury. It's found in control over your time. You've seen how patience, humility, and self-awareness are stronger than any market prediction or financial formula. The truth is, money will always come and go, but your mindset, your habits, and your peace of mind are what truly define your success. The world will keep changing, opportunities will rise and fall, and new voices will try to tell you what to believe. But if you remember the lessons in this audiobook, you'll never be easily swayed. You'll build a kind of wealth that no one can take away, the wealth of wisdom. So, as you step back in your daily life, ask yourself, am I spending to impress or spending with purpose? Am I chasing quick wins or building long-term peace? And most importantly, am I letting my emotions control my money or am I in control of both? If this audiobook opened your mind, inspired you, or helped you see money in a new light, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more life-changing lessons on mindset, wealth, and personal growth. Remember, real success isn't about having more, it's about needing less. Stay grounded, stay wise, and keep growing, not just financially, but mentally and spiritually. Thank you for listening to the psychology behind how you spend money. Until next time, live wisely, spend consciously, and invest in becoming your best self.